get a little depressed because I've been reading about economics, and there was a period of time in the 50s and 60s where the United States was mostly just middle class. Varying shades of middle class, but mostly middle class because of the regressive tax system. Then I'm reading about savings accounts with insane rates like 13%, 5%. Pretty comfortable period of time. I keep thinking about how, when I was growing up, my folks are pretty much low and then moved into middle class. And in the 40 years since I've been alive, they slid into lower middle class, damn near poverty. And true middle class is, it's like you don't have something, but if you save up for a while, you probably get it. Whereas now, it's just like, if you don't have something, you're just not gonna have something. It's just something I'm thinking about. I forgot to put that stuff away. The reason I can say lower middle class is because I get by and I only have to have one job. Whereas I got relatives, they've got 2 or 3 jobs and struggle to pay bills every month. I don't have my own place, and I'm never going to have my own place. Because of where I'm at. Home ownership, though, it was kind of tempting for a minute there. That's the problem with the media, though. That's the problem with the great propaganda arm in this country, is they make you believe with a lot of things are really great that you have to have them. The reality is rather muted. But the only thing that media can pump up, and it almost lives up to the hype, is food. Somebody tells you something great about food, or they try to sell a food to you, it's okay. But it's never as great as they advertise. Whereas everything else they try to sell you, it's barely okay or it's overhyped. Home ownership, that, you know, that car that you always show the people sitting in the car, the guy's smiling and he's driving around these country roads and zoom in and out of the supercharged fast car. And the reality is you have to maintain that sucker. Every part on it is overpriced or expensive. That zoom that you paid all that money for, you're not going to get it. There's too many people on the road for you to enjoy that. You know, they sell you a house. This is all yours. You're free to do whatever you want with it. Blah, 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 blah. And you're free to maintain it too. You're free to pay $5,000, $10,000 to get the roof fixed. You're free to have your air conditioner break down on you in the middle of summer. You're free to have to keep up with getting your attic insulated. You're free to deal with contractors and foundation repair companies and all that stuff. You're free every month to discipline yourself to try to set aside at least $1,000 so that you have something in a rainy day fund to take care of whatever emergencies might happen to the house that you now own. That's the beauty of home ownership, is trying to maintain that piece of shit home. And your home is a piece of shit. Somebody built it really fast, trying to get it off the market really quick, and you're saddled with that thing. Every 5 to 10 years there's something that comes up that you have to deal with. Just the hassle of bringing these 3 guys into your house, figuring out who is going to be not the lowest bidder, but who's going to be the best quality for the money, and then hoping that you still don't get burned, because you will at least. There'll be one little thing they burn you on. A window they left kind of broken, a piece of tile that got loose after 2 months, an air conditioning unit that has a capacitor that goes out every year, something. You gotta have time. You gotta take time off of work to have them come in and do all that stuff to your house. That's another hassle. And you're thinking, yeah, I got this great space to myself, and then all of a sudden you got all these renters that move in next to you. Don't give a shit about what their property looks like. Everybody and their brother coming in there, you don't know who live in there. Dude moves in, and next thing you know, stuff gets broken into. It's like, well, you have all that stuff with renting. I was like, I don't disagree. However, the cool thing about renting is something breaks in the house, landlord takes care of it. You got a sorry landlord, you can take him to court, or you can take him to, you put the government lien on him, or you can, that's when the government used to work. You could add the government work lien on him, or just move into another apartment. I don't know anymore. And then they talk about relationships and sex, which are great when you can when they work out for you. Otherwise, it's like eating sunflower seeds. It's a lot of work for a little meat. So what are the things that, so what would you do? Tell the truth. Tell people the truth. Tell them it's like, you know what, you can own a home, it's going to be a lot of work. Pros and cons. Or don't try to, you know, the truth. All I want is the truth. You see, the truth doesn't sell. The truth causes the bureaucracy to have to work a little bit harder. The truth threatens regimes and the status quo. Sometimes I wonder if the truth was a commodity market, how much would it be worth per ounce? Our money backed by the truth. Can you imagine someone saying that? It's like, what? What's that supposed to be? What you see is what you get. It's like, oh. What does the truth tell you? The truth tells me that the Russians landed on the moon before the United States did, but they didn't do it manned, so that was the only thing we cared about. But it didn't really matter because we didn't do anything with the moon after we landed on it. It's like, hey, we set foot on the moon. Great. Not to sound too nitpicky, but yeah, what have you done for me lately? You know, why is it I'm not seeing that stuff in Kubrick? Inflatable houses on the moon and big giant science colonies and everything else. Anyway. Gotten the griping out of my system. It is what it is. And what it is for me is 60 years and possibly an altruistic. Okay. Years for me and possibly altruistic suicide. I'm not putting up with this, especially not in my old age. That's all I got to say on the subject. Nobody can convince me otherwise. I've read everything I need to read. Unless some serious changes start to happen, I am not planning for retirement. My camera's still going? Yep. Like, isn't that why you're talking to yourself? No, I'm talking to myself because I'm fucking batshit crazy. Oh. And those lights are bright. Yeah, I probably should have drank a little bit more water. It's never enough, especially not in this heat. Sometimes I drink enough and there's water in my gut and it's just like a bloated tick. And then as soon as I go outside, my face, my eyes, my face and my throat just dry up. I kind of like doing 4 reps though. Kind of want to make that a permanent thing. Do 4 and bounce. That ain't the way I roll. At least not until I hit my 50s probably. What am I going to do in that last great decade? I don't know. That seems so far off in the future, I just don't even think about it. Everything I do is in a holding pattern, a wait and see attitude. Wait until 2020 when Trump gets his second election, wins his second election, and then just watch everything go to the shit pile. I take my cubes from the mighty microbe, man. Bacteria, they don't put up with this stuff. They just like, when things get harsh, they just kind of form up into a cyst, waiting until the good times happen, and then when the good times happen, they emerge. When there's too many bacteria, some bacteria will willingly sacrifice themselves and say, okay, there's too many of us. Bacteria are pretty smart. A collective intelligence. Part of my, now, if I had to have one conspiracy theory indulgence, that's my indulgence, the thought that there might be smart bacteria. Like the entire surface of the earth is covered in a film, and that film is a collective intelligence, and it runs the world. That's what we're doing with the microbes, pretty much. Be kind of a cool story, right? There are 2 collective bacterial intelligences, and they fight each other in a stealth war that none of the quote-unquote higher beings know about, or the higher animals know about. Like all this time, mankind thought it was in control of the earth, but it didn't realize that the bacteria in its gut was really running the show. We have the yogurt consortium. I thought that was laughable until I saw that, what was it, that Netflix animated thing where they talked about intelligent yogurt. Maybe the bacteria is intelligent. It's just trying to kill off the human race so that they can start its reign. Bacteria don't have to care about climate change or extinction of whole species and all that other stuff. They'll be fine. They lived in harsher environments for a longer number of years. That's the other thing. The collective bacteria, the collective intelligence might be millions of years old. Every once in a while the bacterium dies off, or a couple thousand die off. It's just replacing its brain cells. But its memory is stored amongst all of the billions and trillions of bacteria. So this thing has just been lurking in the background, growing intelligent over the eons. Maybe it's what's directing people to pursue AI. Smart bacteria merges with AI so it can move a lot faster. Creates artificial bodies. Made to order. I give a shitter's busted and I'm not expecting parts anytime soon. My give a shitter's out of warranty. And I can't afford to buy the newer models. No, when they talk about, I was saying food hyping. Marmite's actually pretty good. I like it. I just can't justify paying $6.99 a jar. It's a little jar too. I know I'm going to use up that jar in about a couple of weeks. I mix it with peanut butter and man, kind of neat. It's a cool umami flavors blending together. The sweet butteriness of the peanut butter and the salty bitterness, the salty meatiness of Marmite, they work well together. I wonder what Marmite and beans taste like. I wonder what that's all about. The hotter it gets, it seems like there's the more assholes out here. I don't know, something's going on. Maybe it's there's 2 weeks left before the kids have to go back to school. Something's got folks out here, though. I guess it would help if I started paying attention to the news again, but once again, like I said, it's the propaganda. I'm not going to find any truth by watching the news. So I'm kind of just flying blind. I don't know why the price of the food I order has gone up, but it has. So I bought a shitload of beans. I guess I'll be eating that for the next 3 months. One vegetarian actually is cheaper. So I didn't do it to save animals, I did it to save money. Because at my heart, it doesn't make me a capitalist, it just makes me someone, like I said, at my heart I'm thrifty. Will always be thrifty. I see everything through a lens of money and time. That's why I'm out here. It's not that I love exercise, it's just that I'm too fucking cheap. Every 2-hour session I put in here, this time and money I don't have to put into getting blood pressure medication. Right now my blood pressure is low and I'd like to keep it that way. The only thing that sucks about having a low blood pressure is I'm like a reptile now. When it gets extremely cold, I feel it. I get cold very easily. There's no warmth in me. But a cold heart can save you money. I'm a cold-hearted thriftist. Here we go. Ain't even gotten started yet. Something's going on, man. No, they got their tree limbs picked up. I'm still waiting on mine. That's kind of new too. The problem is I don't want to touch him. That's a cicada. What I want to do is pick him up and put him on a tree, but I'm too grossed out to do it because he's got hooks on his feet, and I don't want him clinging to me. The other thing is, if I put him up there, well, the bird will eat either way. Time to get freaked out? Yeah, time to get freaked out. It's not like they bite or poison us or anything. It's going to be hard to tell to get him off my finger. he figured it out. Nope, he's still there. Oh! Oh! There you go. I did my good deed for the day. It's probably still clinging to me. So that's what keeps running into me. Those stupid things. So I was like, why isn't he just sitting there fluttering? And the problem is that his armor is so heavy, he can't roll himself over. So when I picked him up, he righted the ship, and then he could fly. I don't know where his dumb ass is going to fly now. My job was done. I'm always scared of getting bit. Something like that is I'm scared of getting bit by, because he flutters around, and my instincts tell me don't mess with anything that flutters around that much. But when a mosquito calmly comes by and sits on my leg, I'll just sit there and let him suck. And later on get mad about the fact that I got this big old welt on my leg. Wasps, on the other hand, wasps and bees, they do the, you know, they're the worst of both worlds. They flutter about, and they calmly, when they attack you, they calmly sit on you and insert the stinger. It's not even quick. I've seen it happen where I'm just watching it and I'm like, okay, he's getting ready to put a stinger down, and I can't get my hand in there fast enough to flick him off. But he calmly rests there, puts the abdomen down, and then inserts the stinger, the barb. I've been stung so many times. I think wasp stings are worse than bee stings. They're both unpleasant though. And then there's ant bites. They don't slowly do anything, man. They get up on you, and they curl up into that ball and take a bite. And immediately that venom starts to work. Skin's on fire, skin's itching, skin's blistering. I wonder what that stuff is. I bet you $5 they've already militarized it. I think that's what NX, no. NX gas, aka sarin. Well, is NX the same thing as sarin? Bottom line, from what I heard, they were accidentally discovered. They were trying to make something else, and they wound up making a pretty potent nerve agent. But I don't know what is in the cocktail of venom that an ant inserts in somebody. I just know that it causes the skin to blister, and it causes the pain nerves to fire up. So my guess is a neurotoxin and a cytotoxin. For all I know, it could be mustard gas. That damages the DNA. Well, this stuff looks like it does the same thing. I probably could have let him just crawl all the way up my arm and dig his hooks in. Now that I know they can fly, yeah, I could have just picked him up and just kind of flung him somewhere. I thought the wings were like vestigial at a certain point. And all this time I thought that was grasshoppers and locusts that kept running into me, so stupid cicadas. big old thing. It hits my thing and it goes pop. You just hear that. And then it hits me in the chest and I'm like pop. And I was like, damn, the thing is hard. I'm scared of him, but I'm not scared of cockroaches. I don't understand cockroaches. They're pretty cool. Like it's just a big dumb cow. That's what it is. It's an insect cow. Runs around producing milk for its 300 million offspring. And it eats cud. It chews cud. That's all they do is eat rotten vegetation. Basically, they're supposed to be in forest somewhere, sitting on the floor in dead trees somewhere, eating up the dead tree. Wherever there's dead wood, this thing eats it. Breaks it down into sugar. Mixes the sugar with whatever protein's in its system. Forms milk crystals that it uses to feed its offspring. Cockroach milk has more nutrition and more protein per pound than cow's milk. I think it's like 2 times or 10 times more protein laden than so. But you can't sell that to a. You probably could sell it to a bodybuilder. They'll drink anything if it gives them an egg. You know. I just don't think anybody wants to pay $1,500 for a jug of cockroach protein isolate. But then again, what they'll probably wind up doing is they'll figure out what the genes are for making cockroach milk so potent. Put that in a retrovirus or something, insert that inside of a cow, and have the cow produce just real protein-laden milk. In the future, though, they won't be complaining about obesity. They'll be complaining about why do so many people have kidney failure at such a young age. It's like they're eating the same foods we were eating. What's changed? And then some muckraker will sit there and say, "Yeah, it's that supercharged milk." Some company called Body Milk or some kind of weird company. They guess they're just Monsanto or something. I guess they won't exist in the future. But whatever super conglomerate, how many consumer products? Says they have no plans. Their research proves that super milk doesn't cause any kidney failure. Was it an independent study? Well, no, but still, our results. You just have to trust us on our results. I'm like, okay. Trust is something you guys don't get from us because you have yet to give it. In God we trust, in big business we bust. That's how fucked up things have gotten. Is like people are saying, like the Republicans and the conservatives are sitting there singing the praises of Herbert Hoover, like he is the patron saint. Turns out he was right all along. I'm like, what ass are y'all pulling this data from? The markets will fix themselves. The markets will fix themselves. Unemployment is high because people don't have jobs. The Great Depression was the best for a lot of people. They went from being workers to being wealthy apple salesmen. And I was like, okay, just stop. Did the Depression do that? Technically, kind of right. It did produce a whole lot of entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, a lot of those entrepreneurs were for selling bootleg liquor. That was kind of the weird deal, man. So I'm reading that book and they was talking about Joseph Kennedy was the, what was he? He was the first chairman of, oh, what was it? He was the first chairman or the head of the SEC. Did not know that. Joseph Kennedy was the first head of the SEC, and they said, but he's a crook. And it's like, yeah, and that's why he knows every dirty trick. They put a criminal in charge of the SEC. And it'd explain why they're so soft on crime. But you know what? Soft on crime's not a bad thing. All you have to do is stop the crime. Here, I'm about to say something stupid. I'll retract that before I even say it. A lot of crime, all you have to do is remove the financial incentive. Go after the money. That won't stop you from getting rid of some of the violent criminals. The violent criminals, basically, because they have a mental tick. And that's another problem you can throw money at. By subsidizing and government controlling health care. People say, when the government ever done a good thing? I said, apparently the government did a good thing from 1950 to 1965. The government was in charge during World War II. The government built the railroads, the government, let me rephrase that, the government paid a lot of crooked son of a bitches to build the railroad. But the bottom line is they still paid. The government is what builds our infrastructure. The government built dams, the government built highways, the government built the road I'm standing on. This was not a private company. So I guess the answer is when it's allowed to work, when it's filled with people who have something to gain from helping out the other people, the government works quite well. But yeah, when everybody's in it for their own personal interest, the government is a reflection of us. So if we don't believe in the government, we don't believe in ourselves. And maybe that's very telling when I say that I don't believe in the government. Maybe I don't believe in myself anymore. How can I? Despite all my successes, I'm still, in general, a failure. Yeah, maybe I'm too hard on myself. I'm not a complete failure, but I'm a partial failure. And that's because I buy into the hype. According to the hype and the stuff that the media sells, I'm a failure. I live at home with mom and dad, never been married, never will be married, never had any kids. I work at a job that's beneath my talents. I let myself go bald. I'm fat. And I never wanted, and I won't get the surgery to, you know, make myself look all presentable cosmetically. I don't vote. I don't watch the news. I don't wear cologne. I don't wear jewelry. I don't drink enough. I drink one time a week. And a lot of people like drink every day. I was like, no, it's all right. I'm cool. I don't drink coffee. I don't smoke that brand of cigarettes I'm supposed to be smoking. You know, I'm the guy in the, I'm buying off-the-wall brands. I don't save the environment. I don't donate much to charity. I don't feel guilty for a lot of the bad things that I do. And I don't really feel really good about the good things that I do. So I'm a moral failure, a relationship failure, a financial failure, a career failure. You know, I got a lot to sit there and say, oh, I said, God, you should just kill yourself now. I was like, I should, shouldn't I? But no, I'm having a pretty good time. I do have my moments. One thing I don't plan on doing, and that's growing old in America. I thought about it, man. It's like, all right, I'm gonna live to be 100. I better get all my eggs in a row. Better get my retirement in place. And I was like, wait. I was like, you live to be 100, you will not enjoy. I don't even know what age I plan on, or I won't be able to work anymore. Let's put it that way. There's no such thing as retirement for me. I work till I can't. I can't afford to retire. So I'll just work until my bones turn to dust. And who knows, by the time the future comes around, they might take my brain out of my body, throw it in a jar somewhere, and they'll just have my brain running calculations. And I get a little stipend, and the little stipend keeps my my brain in the jar world going. The only question is, will they let me know that I'm a brain in the jar? Or will they keep that a little secret so that, you know, I think they would be smart and say that, you know, it's like, for some reason I'm 70 years old, but I've stayed 70 years old for, they keep looking at the calendar. I was like, I've been 70 years old for 50 years. What's going on? And there's my brain being partly sublet to, I'm partly sublet as an AI to control traffic lights. Another part of me controls an annuity, or I'm a part-time actuary. It's like, well, we get a lot out of this brain. One part of my brain is doing stellar cartography. 50% of my brain is being used for archiving. It's like, this brain's in pretty good shape. We can keep it going for another 400 years. And that's the future of humanity? Yeah. Can't pay your jets, you become a brain in a jar somewhere. Why develop artificial intelligence when we've got all this natural intelligence that we're not utilizing? I might be an air traffic controller. Bottom line is, with my brain in a jar, there's a lot of things that I can do at once. They'll have my brain so hooked up with so many things, I'm a quadruple core processor. Not quadruple, quadrillion. A quadrillion core processor. They have me linked up with a quantum computer. And I'll be like the intermediary. So in 500 years, my brain's still sitting in a jar somewhere and I'm doing stellar cartography, or I'm mapping out warp coordinates. Let me say in advance to whatever 30th century settlers are going to Alpha Centauri, I'm sorry for the miscalculation, but if you watch all my videos, you'll understand why the government probably shouldn't have chose this brain. I could be in the jar right now. I just don't know. I'm already reading research papers and news articles about how current, some theoretical physics think this is all just a simulation. What was their rationale behind it? Because of the lack of parity or something that we got going on here. Like, we don't, like the missing antimatter, the whole gravity thing. Some people are saying that the whole, that the internet is, or excuse me, not the internet, but the world is, the universe is built on top of a giant information ether, or internet, yeah. Information boom. The reason you can't go faster than light is because the simulation won't let you go faster than light. Where do they pull up these things? The processors in the background can't handle anything faster. than I am for relativity, and I know I'm gonna make a lot of people mad doing that, but I think when we can't go out to find the answers, then we better start looking inward, and we can kind of get really close in the quantum. So I'm going to choose to believe that I'm sitting inside of a giant sea of quantum foam, and that's why I can't go faster than light. Mass resistance, mass barrier, inertial barrier. There's all these particles in the universe that say, hey man, I just want to chill, I just want to stay at my nice low energy state here, man. Why are you trying to raise things? Why are you trying to put infinite energy into the universe, man? I'm just trying to sit here and chill. So the quantum foam is just lazy. You're trying to go faster and faster, and the quantum foam's just getting in your way, and it's just like, hey man, stop pushing. Just chill. So you're looking for the quantum bully. Something that goes in there and just kind of shoves them all out of the way, makes them go to work. Hey, you go faster than light. Yes, sir. Pop, pop, pop. My army of negative mass. It goes out there and just beats up normal matter and just says, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Pop. Can't you see I'm trying to go faster than light here? Why go faster than light? There's a planet made entirely of water. Get some bacteria in that, man. Just see what would happen. 1,000 years. Whole Earth, the whole world just be covered in dense layers of algae. I know you're not going to be around in a million years, but whoever's running the experiment in a million years gets to see how everything turned out. If mankind's still around. That'll probably be the backup planet. They'll call it Algeria 7 or something, I don't know. We won't run out of names, that's for sure. I'm kind of laughing that in 10,000 years someone's going to be living on the planet Butthurt 7. And it's like, other than the name, it's a pretty cool planet. I like Butthurt 7. They can't figure out who their founder is because their founder was some guy who named the planet anonymously way back in 2015. Butthurt 7. The Pleasure Planet. And yes, Teddy Bear Junction still will be the worst scumhole in the galaxy. Fredonia 13 is a dictatorship. Named Fredonia 13 by Janice McCormick back in 1997. He was a hippie who envisioned the world. And this planet would be the bastion of the utopia of good ideas or whatever. And they tried to live up to those principles. Things broke down fast. And the tyrant Shenzing took over the planet in 2734. For some reason he kept the name though. He thought it was a funny, cruel irony. He's a sick bastard in that way. It's like, why does he have to be Chinese? Because when you think of iron-fisted rule, you always think of an Asian country. This country is different. It's velvet fisted. The rich people in this country are assholes, but they're nice assholes. Well, some of them are. They'll smile and give you charity all the while explaining why they can't pay their fair share of taxes. They can't pay a progressive tax system. Why they deserve to have billions of dollars of money and sitting around in piles that'll never be spent. Why their idiot son deserves to be in charge for the next 1,000 years, or their children. Oh, that feels nice. Man, there is a lot of shit going on. I mean, there's a lot of... What is it with all these assholes at? Maybe there was a convention. But yeah, if I had $1 million and you told me that I can only keep 300,000 of it, but for my $700,000 in taxes, I get free health care, or government pays health care, education anytime I want to go pursue it. I'll live comfortable in retirement, and I don't have to worry about high housing costs. I'm like, you know what? Take that $700,000. All I was going to do is have it sit in a bank account somewhere. If it's being used to make things better, to make my life better, then I'm for it. But yeah, if you're taking $700,000 out of my check, and you're going to spend it so General Motors can sell more cars in Vietnam, then yeah, I'm going to be pretty pissed about that. To pay for some endless war somewhere. You think that's what the rich people are doing? No, they're not that altruistic. No, these are such selfish assholes trying to build a dynasty. It's not that hard to figure out. They're in charge, and they want their kids to be in charge in the future because they think that only their offspring can correctly rule the world. And they haven't raised their children properly enough for that to happen. Or even if they did, they just don't have the same prowess for making and keeping money like their parent did. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like the Rockefeller family. Oh, man was a bastard. But these kids are trying very hard to polish their images and maybe even his. They got the money. They want to be benevolent tyrants. And that's why I say, like I said, we're going to be a country filled with benevolent tyrants, but still tyrants nonetheless. How does tyranny work? Borracho! Wipe that thing really completely out. How does tyranny work? Tyranny tells you you can't have the socialist candidate because he's just too far left wing. And so what you really want is the center right career politician who lies through her teeth. That's what tyranny does for you. You're telling tyranny what you want, and tyranny's telling you what it's going to give you. And then tyranny thinks, well, you have no other choice. It's either him or the raving lunatic of a right-wing guy. And then when the country picked the raving lunatic, the gentle tyrants were like, they were hurt. Those idiots were actually hurt. All the benevolent tyrants of the United States just threw up their arms and said, what the hell are y'all doing? We want money. Well, money's not everything, says the guy who's got it. Got all of it. You benevolent tyrants better wake up. Give the people what they want, not what you think they want. Or what you want. Benevolent tyrants are the reason why I can't find a good porter. I'm buying Icelandic beer because I can't find anything in this country that caters to what I want. I want a dark chocolatey ale. I don't want milk stout because I'm lactose intolerant. What do I see all these brew houses? Indian Pale Ale. Lagers. Dark lagers. I'm like, I just want a dark stout. It's like, we're not going to give you that. It's like, okay. I want a station wagon. We're not going to give you that. I want a micro truck. We're not going to give you that. I want solar panels for $10,000. We're not going to give you that. I want to go back to school and get another degree, but I don't want to pay more than $10,000 to get it. We're not going to give you that. Does that sound like if every time you keep hearing no, or that's not what we got, do you bother to even talk to that system or have anything to do with that system ever again? That's what I mean by the lost faith. I keep asking for things within my means, and I keep getting things that are outside of my means or in no way align with what I actually want. I'm willing to give, and they're not giving at all. There's no compromise here. It's like, take it or leave it. And I was like, well, then I'll leave it every time. I just wish more people would think that way. Take it or leave it, just leave it.